I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. This is the 9th installment of my discussion in philosophies series, and I just want to discuss rather quickly the idea of commodification. And basically, the very simple way to discuss and understand commodification is that it's the attempt to make a commodity out of things. It's the attempt to take something and make it profitable, to sell the thing, or to make money from the thing or action or activity or service. One thing that I've recognized insofar as we talk about commodification is recently the idea came to me of the commodification of idleness, the attempt to actually make money from an individual's idleness. Typically, when you think about the workforce from an organizational psychological standpoint, organizational psychology and organizational psychologists, what they do in part is to talk about workforce productivity. Here's why we think your workforce isn't being as productive as possible, and their lack of productivity is what's costing you money. Their lack of productivity is what's inhibiting otherwise profit margins that you could be seeing. So typically when we talk about commodification, we usually think of the concept of being productive as the source or the vehicle towards making more money. However, I got a lot of time on my hands as a philosopher, and I've started to recognize that there's a ton of money to be made in being idle. If you look at a lot of the social networks that are out, specifically Facebook, the idea is in traditional sort of CMC, commodity exchange, I buy a product wholesale, I sell that product at a marked up rate, and then I take profits from the difference, and I invest a little bit in buying more product and rake in more profits. But all of this is contingent on actual products, actual goods. In a virtual environment, obviously, we've recognized that the generation of capital is far easier in terms of providing a service, virtual service, right? So you provide virtual services, virtual products, and you can make tons of money providing virtual services. For me, the idea of commodifying idleness is a pretty remarkable idea. And, I always, before I prepare these lectures, Google to see if someone else has had the idea and put it out there, and I didn't find anything. But the idea is when you're browsing through Facebook, when you're browsing through YouTube, when you're browsing through Tumblr and Dig and whatever the other social media sites that you frequent, there's money being generated for the site. And from the site, there's millions, and in some cases, in the case of Facebook, billions of dollars that are being generated in you idly browsing through the site. Obviously, this is good marketing for potential advertisers, because if the average user for your particular social media site spends, a few hours on the site, and they are constantly being introduced with suggestions to purchase goods, the likelihood of them eventually purchasing a good is rather high. The idea is that the attempt to generate money is actually, if you fundamentally look at it, derived from the idleness of the consumer, the idleness of the user, which goes against the traditional sort of maybe now antiquated market economic that productivity is the best source of generating capital. So the question is, in the 21st century, what do you think will eventually win in terms of generating more capital? Which one will be more profitable in the long run? An idle consumer or a productive consumer? So I'll leave that as a discussion point, especially now that Black Friday is just a couple of days away. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Have a good day.